Hi, soap fans. Allison J. Waldman here, your two-scooper, your soap recapper, your SoapCentral.com regular contributor. And hope you all had a great week and that you enjoyed the soaps. And I hope you enjoyed the big news. We finally have now confirmation that the daytime Emmys will air on HLN. Now, what is HLN? It is not a home shopping channel. HLN used to be headline news. So it's right wherever you have CNN on your dial. HLN is like right next door. So you should be able to get it without too much trouble. Now, we don't know yet who's hosting it, but I imagine, they may go for somebody like an Anderson Cooper who's connected to CNN. Maybe they not be able to go that highbrow. Maybe Nancy Grace, who used to be on the network. But I guarantee you, whoever they get, it's going to be somebody who's definitely related to daytime. I actually think any of the women from The View would be great. Because Joy Behar would be perfect because she's a comedian. She's on daytime. She loves the soaps. She can talk about everything going on in the world because of The View. And I think she used to have a show on HLN. So, okay, Joy Behar, she gets my vote. But the good news is the daytime Emmys are no longer adrift. Now, I'm going to share a little history with you guys. I'm not sure if you remember this. But there was a time when the daytime Emmys were not on at all. I remember one year the daytime Emmys were on a cruise ship, and we only found out after the fact who won. And then they would broadcast the daytime Emmys in daytime, sometimes in the middle of the day. And then finally it broke into prime time and became a prime time award show where they got bigger and tried to create more production values, and that's when you had Wayne Brady singing and dancing, and you had to have a lot of glitz and glamour. And last year's show, which was particularly ridiculous, the Las Vegas episode, it was like daytime Emmys, Las Vegas. We had to have all these commercials for hotels and casinos and events and things that were going on there. It was really pretty cheesy. So I'd rather see it on HLN, which is a news channel, and hope that they're going to do something good with it. That they're going to rise to the occasion. And especially, this is a very, very important year for the daytime Emmys because the tributes that are going to be looked for from soap fans for One Life to Live and All My Children need to be something special. Can't be the kind of slapdash projects that they put together in the past for Guiding Light and As the World Turns, which were just insulting. When you consider the fact that Guiding Light, from radio to television, had been on the air 72 years, and that As the World Turns was on more than 50 years. Name a primetime show. Name a news show. Name any other kind of television that's ever lasted as long as soap operas. You can't do it. Soap operas are unique, and they need to be honored, and they need to be respected. And that's why this year at the Daytime Emmy Awards, I'm really hoping they're going to do wonderful tributes to All My Children. Get the whole cast out there, get Susan Lucci out there, get the One Life to Live people out there. Some of them are in General Hospital, so you know where to find them, but Erica Slezak is nominated, so you know she can be there. And I really want to see them do something good. Okay? And I know you guys will be watching because we are the soap fans. Now, what happened this week on the soaps? Let's talk. On General Hospital, we had Weekend with Bernie. Or was it Dead Man Walking? Whatever it was, it turns out that Anthony Zaccara got the bullet, not Johnny. And his body was floating around for a while, or being shifted around for a while, until it ended up with Tracy and Luke, who decided to make it look like Anthony's still alive and just in a very deep sleep, which was pretty funny. Anytime you can get Jane Elliott and Anthony Geary doing comedy together, it's going to be good stuff. So that was really, really a nice, funny turn. Also, I love the fact that Johnny is haunted by his father already. That he can't get rid of Anthony. Every time he turns around, Anthony's there. So that's good stuff on General Hospital. On Young and the Restless, we had a whole different kind of situation. Uh, it was Cassie's memorial. Now, 7 years ago, the character of Cassie, who was well, not Nick's daughter, Nick's stepdaughter and Sharon's daughter, but they raised her together and they felt that she was their child together. And she's an important part of the Newman family, and she died in a drunk driving accident. Actually, it wasn't really drunk driving. It was more she was driving, she'd been drinking. I don't really remember the details, but Daniel was unable to drive because he definitely was drunk. So he feels tremendous responsibility over Cassie's death. And I really respect the fact that Young and the Restless devoted an entire show, an entire day, to remembering the character and to remembering how other people's lives have gone on, but they still remember and miss Cassie. It was very, very touching, and it showed you one of the things that soaps can do that other shows really can't. When they showed, even though I've only been watching Young and the Restless really religiously, let's say for like the last 5 years. Before that, I knew it, but I wasn't watching it daily. And I remember when they showed the scene where they were looking through the photo album, and you saw pictures of Cassie through the years, I started to well up. I started to cry as if I knew this kid, as if she had been part of my family, because I remembered her on the show. I remembered when she was a little girl, and I remember when she was a teenager. So, soaps really are a part of our lives. And when characters come and go, and, we miss them. And even though I don't particularly miss Cassie, I love the way they remembered her and the way they missed her. So that was well done, Young and the Restless. Meanwhile, Bold and the Beautiful. I'm telling you, Bold and the Beautiful, what is going on with Bill? As I wrote in my 2 scoops this week, I don't know whether he's, a blubbering, sad, husband who's afraid that his wife's going to die if she has the baby, or if he's Satan. I mean, why is he going after Deacon to bring Deacon back to Los Angeles to destroy Hope's life? I mean, I realize you don't like Liam with Hope, but is that the only solution? To get a convicted felon who's never been her father out of jail to come back to harass her? I mean, that just seems cruel to me. And I don't like it when they go in that direction. But to me, that's like beyond the pale. Speaking of beyond the pale, how is it possible that Stefano on Days of Our Lives got off again? I mean, this guy he's got more lives than any cat, more than 9 lives. He's always getting away with it, and of course now everybody wants to kill him, and everybody's got a gun, and everybody's going to take aim at him. And I think, judging by, what's happening, I can't tell you if Stefano's going to die, but I can definitely tell you he's going to end up in a pool of blood sooner or later. And meanwhile, and Victor, I mean, did Victor not think that, he was going to, eventually that Maggie was going to learn the truth about what he did with her stolen eggs? I mean, come on. And finally, on that show, I really don't like the Gabby story. I hate stories where characters, pretend to be in danger, but they're not really in danger. And, talk about, the girl who cried wolf. What's going to happen if somebody really does start to stalk her? Nobody's going to believe it because she's been lying all this time about having a stalker. So I'd like to see that story elevated a little bit. Meanwhile, Nicole and Daniel, I did not see that one coming. Again, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But interesting. Getting back to another thing on Young and the Restless, it was nice to see Danny Romalotti back. I'm not exactly sure he looked as good as he used to look, but it was still pretty cool to see him and Christine together. And I guess next week we're going to see Dr. Tim Reed after all these years. So interesting to see what they're doing on the soaps, bringing back older characters. But we're at the verge of the beginning of the summer, so expect a lot of teen storylines, which are always very, very popular this time of the year, and we'll see a lot of action with that. And but that's the exciting news. That's the inside info. I hope you're enjoying the soaps as much as I am, and I'll be back next week with another Soapcast. This is Allison J. Waldron, your Soapcaster, two-scooper, recapper, and SoapCentral.com regular, signing off for this week. The date is, in case I didn't say it, May 27th, 2012, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.